Hey y'all, let's talk boats. As you can see, the Stroh is almost ready. Almost. I'm going to show you why it's not ready. As you'll recall, we knocked the whole right side off of the boat in the last race of the year, last year. And we taped it all back together when we ran, and we finished second in the Norm Evans final in Chelan, Washington, which, as you can imagine, was extremely disappointing because I expected to win. Here's what we got. We got our new motors on. New cowling arrangement built. I know you're going to complain, right? Where's the blowers? I can't find a picture to prove that the boat ran with blowers in this configuration. As the Infinity, it did. In this configuration here, the only really good image I have of the motors is where I can see it through the cowling at one point, and I can clearly see a tunnel ram. So we have built it with carbureted tunnel rams. Actually, these are little throttle bodies, but I'm going to call them carburetors. And there they are. Here's how this works now. And here's where the new super secret stuff. Let me tell you what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the new super secret thing we're doing here that absolutely may not work. It is 100% untested. I'm the guy. And then we'll show you some really cool new stuff for the Infinity. And you got to do something before I open this and let you see it, right? Okay, I show you guys all my super secret stuff. Do something for me. Click the like button, okay? That's why I do it. I want to know you like it. If you don't like it, then just leave. Ha! Here's what we're doing. Did you click? Okay, click. All right, got it. Here we go. Here's how you do this now. This one is actually bolted on. This one's just glued on. To lift, it's just that easy. It's kind of a hybrid now. Fiberglass and wood. My classic magnets to hold it on. Not much to it. It's heavier than I'd like, man. This stuff here is heavy. So I'm adding weight. But we've eliminated the pin at the front here and just made it wrap around enough to hold. It just goes on that easy. It won't shift and come off. You can't shift it. This magnet recesses into this opening here, so it can't shift. The idea is hard water, heavy water, hit something, right? It doesn't shift and pop off. So there we go. I don't know if it'll float. I hope it does. I got a little bit of pour foam up here, pour foam in this guy. And these are all closed, so there's air back there. I'll throw it in the water and find out first. We don't want to talk about that. Check this out. Oh, yeah. That is one tiny little wire drive. As you know, if you've been following along, I've got a video where I show how to install the wire drive start to finish, okay, in the Electro Eliminator. Go look for it. Maybe I'll put a link down in the video description section. However, and as you know, by the way, I'm running a wire drive on the gasser, and if you're not, you should do it. This is untested. Little tiny thin thing. Brent called me up and says, hey, will you try it? And like, I'm an idiot. Yeah, I'll try. So let me show you how we put it in. I'm not going to show you the entire install process. Again, I have that video for that. But I'll show you how slick it is here and just a couple of ideas. One thing, I'm doing this on the gasser now too. First of all, you should stop here, go watch that other video, click like on that one, and then come back. You'll get some idea of where we're at. The way I'm mounting the motor now, and this hurt me because I hate using 1/4" studs because they're big and heavy. I went to a much heavier mount here at the rear of the motor because I don't want this guy moving around. All right, the wire drives, and we're going to talk more about this in just a minute. I have something else really cool to show you. But the wire drives, solid drive, or by the way, look at that. This is how this comes from Brent. Brent Byers is the manufacturer of these. I'll put his email in the description, and then you're going to send me a message right away and say, hey, what's Brent's email? It doesn't even pop out real easily. This is a super sexy, can you see that? Little collet. This is like a professional style. If you were doing a lot of lathe work and so on, you would see it, and I know there's a fancy name for it, but it's a 6-puck instead of 4, which is really typical for this sort of thing. This is a super cool, and it kind of pops in place inside here so you don't lose the center section. It does pop out pretty easily, but I'm not going to take it out of there right now, but isn't that sexy? It's a little bit smaller than the way Brent sends it. I thought it was too big and too heavy. I cut a bunch off of this nut here. You don't have to do that, but I did anyway. Okay, so there you go. Bigger mounts, heavier, okay? McMaster Car is a great source for these. Don't ask me for the link. McMaster Car, C-A-R-R. All right, so that guy sits there now. And, let's go ahead and talk about this part. Brent will also hook you up with this. You're like, what am I going to do with that? This is an alignment tool. Okay. Clamp it in here. Put your stuffing tube in it. Assemble it, and you glue your stuffing tube right in place, right where it wants to be with this guy, so it's perfectly aligned. As I say, these things are... Oh, I think I got distracted. I don't think I told you. These things are super sensitive to alignment, okay? When this thing is assembled, if you're coming out at any bit of an angle where you're causing tension on it right here, it'll break. Bigger than heck, it'll break. All right? So you need perfect alignment. Go watch my other video. I show you the entire process. I made my own alignment tool at that point in time. Brent will hook you up with this perfect little one here. Really a beauty. Slips right in. Perfect alignment. All of that. All right, I'll show you. Here's what you're going to do. Let's take it back apart. Here's the tube. Aluminum. Weighs nothing. There's Delrin bushings in here. By the way, when you get this, it'll be too long, okay? He gives you a little bit of extra length. Make sure you talk to him. You want to cut one end and not the other. Reason being, let me see if I can pinpoint it for you. Down inside here, oh, I went through it. Right there, I'm hitting it right now, is a Delrin bushing. Let me try to find it again. There. For your setup, Brent is going to have a fairly precise number on how far back this bushing should be in relation to your collet, okay? So if you cut this in and bring this bushing too far forward on the shaft, again, you're going to be increasing any possible misalignment. You're going to be increasing its stress, okay? So ask him. Don't just start chopping. It's a little bit long. In my case, I had to cut the rear a little bit, scoot it back, make it perfect. Another thing, this is something that I did on mine. You can do this on yours. Again, I have no idea if it's going to work, by the way. This is heavy. Oh, how stupid. I can't believe we've been doing this all these years. When I built this boat, I was still using your basic Teflon line tube, so it's a large diameter tube here, right? And this is a whole lot smaller. So, but again, untested, I don't know if it's going to work. So I want to be able to switch back easily, right? And you're not going to run that cable through this tube. So, and it's simple. You can probably do this on yours. I took a few pieces of brass, and you can see they're soldered together. I stepped up the size, stepped down the size. I used different pieces slipped over each other and soldered together so that I could continue to use my original tube here. This is my new, hopefully permanent, possibly temporary tube. It'll go in, and then I will solder it right here. Can you see that? I hope you're seeing all this stuff. A little dab of solder right there will hold this booger in place, and you are good to go. And that's what I put this in now. If you're using the correct size tube, this will slip right into it. This is the same size as the tube he provides. Here's how that works. You know, put your alignment tool in here. Okay, scoot it back so there's room. Put this guy in here. I should have, yeah. And in a perfect world, it'll align just perfectly. Can you see how that goes in? Shouldn't feel any drag. We're going to snug this up a little bit even. Oh yeah, beautiful. Okay, perfectly aligned. Take you back out. Put this one back in. What supports it back here? Ah, I'm glad you asked. I'll show you. No clue if you're going to see this. hold this one in. It simply goes. Can you see that at all? Hard to do with the wrong hand and at the wrong twist. You want me to flip it over? Parts are going to go flying. Slips into the strut. While we're here, let's talk about the strut. Brent will provide this for you. See that? Cool little hole. Lead Teflon bushings. You're going to oil it through this hole after every run. Okay? Squirt a little bit of oil in there. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Doesn't weigh a darn thing. The alignment is beautiful. Let me prove it. Installation's a breeze. This is going to come too long. Okay, we should talk about that. You're going to cut it till you get the right length. You're going to leave just a little bit of gap between your strut and your drive duct. Thank you. Hard to think of this stuff on the fly. You may not be able to see it. You're going to cut a little taper in this. After you hack it, you're going to go over to your grinder and you're going to grind a little bit of taper in this, and that'll help it go through the bushings and right into the motor. Okay? Slick. Will it work? Don't know. I'm going to put on a prop that I don't care much about, just in case this thing twists and snaps somewhere. But Brent is, he's one of these crazy guys that knows stuff, okay? And he has torsionally tested this particular shaft. And it will hold well beyond the power of these Nitro motors. What we're not sure of is the impact of the prop in the water, whether that will jar it enough to break it, okay? So, I'm going to find out for you. If it works, I'm going to whoop you. Oh my gosh. I'm going to whoop you, and I'm going to whoop you bad. Oh, I hope that's how it goes down. More about the Stroh. Let's... I've been super curious to know what it weighs now. I've added a bunch of weight there. I've removed a bunch of weight here. Now let's go whole hog here. Prop, motor mount, springs, and fuel valve. Batteries in it. Everything else is assembled. Everything is there. Oh, let's do a legit test. My golly. Okay, that's on there. Just that easy, isn't it? Fabulous. Yeah, I know, I got to fertilize. Got an acre and a half. 250 bucks a whack for the fertilizer. And it's still all the weeds. All right. I don't know, are you still there? Can you see anything? Okay, if the battery's good, it is. $10.5 pounds. Holy cow. I think I took weight out of the boat somehow. All right, there you have it. 10.5 pound boat, wire drive, just almost 100% friction free. Completely immune to chatter, and away we go. Let me show you more cool stuff. Let's shut you down. That scares me. Go ahead and try to keep a 10-pound boat on the water. I dare you. Speaking of Brent and cool stuff. Okay, right? We got our solid drive now, and I told you how the movement between drive and motor is the critical item. The shaft can take it. What it can't take is the movement. Latest item in the evolution of solid drive. I haven't installed it yet, all right? I did increase the, again, this hurts me because it adds weight. I did increase the motor mount size in my gasser so that this guy just almost can't move. But I'm telling you, when you're out on the water with these things, fiberglass, wood, I don't care what you're running, there is so much movement going on. And what has always bothered me, and we changed this in full-size boats years ago, and has always bothered me about our scale boats, is the shaft is mounted in the hull and motor is separate on rubber mounts. So your alignment is always moving. Always moving. Anything that moves gets out of shape, it's hurting you. It's cutting speed, it's damaging stuff. We have a solution now. Brent sells this gadget here now that he calls the no bar. It's called that because some of you ding-dongs are still using the big old aluminum piece from side to side in your boat. They call it a T-bar. Big, heavy chunk of spoodah that you don't need. I mean, I just glue the doggone shaft into the hull. What are we doing mounting that big thing? I don't know. So you don't need a bar anymore. You didn't need one anyway because you should just glue it in the hull. However, if you're running one, chuck it. Get rid of it. Talk to Brent. Get this. In fact, let's learn about this thing together. I can see right through the packaging. This thing is super cool. No, I will not be putting it in this boat. I don't think it'll fit. But I will work on that. Okay. Right off the bat, I can tell you it is killer cool construction. Here's some of the cool stuff I saw right away. There's an O-ring right here. How come? So that when you unhook this to swing it, look at that. Is that sexy? Anyway, O-ring keeps it from falling out. Awesome! The nut on the back, I saw that too. It's pressed in. And it is steel. It's a pressed in steel nut. What could you do? You could just drill this and thread it and put in like a time insert, you know, thread inserts, a thread repair thing. No, he's pressed one in there. Killer deal, man. I mean, it's serious. Brent, I think it's overkill. I mean, you could put a ton of torque on this arrangement here, and you should not, okay? But here's what's happening. You're going to bolt this to the motor, okay? Actually, it goes on this side. We'll talk more about this in a minute. And this is going to clamp. I need you. Going to clamp on your stuffing tube. And now this is forbidden in racing anymore. Silicone. Oh, I hate it. Like I said, I epoxy them right in, not going anywhere. But that's a problem. If I mount this guy to the motor, and the motor wants to travel around, now the shaft is traveling with it in perfect alignment all the time. So your stuffing tube will now mount with a little bit of silicone, okay? You'll cut the slot just like you normally would, but then instead of epoxying it in place, instead of putting it on some silly looking big old bar, you're going to just put a little bit of silicone on it. This will still insert into the strut, okay? Running the solid drive, and it'll travel. Oh, it's going to be a beautiful thing. This is the way it should have been done forever. Problem, as I say, for me, this boat was a Staudica hull, and in our scale class, we have to build it as per the original boat. So it has a really low ride height, which means I had to drop the motor way down in a tub here, okay? There isn't room for this guy. What I could do is run a little bit longer tub. There's a rule that limits how long that can be, and I'm not sure if it'll fit. I'm going to make it fit. One way or another, it'll fit. Again, not in this boat. The next one will have it. And in my boat, the shaft will travel with the motor perfectly. No chatter, no misalignment, no loss of power, no broken shafts. Oh, it's going to be awesome. I have a little bit of a challenge here where I have, this is what we call the wrong side for the pulley. It really should be over here. And the reason for that, should we talk about that? I have a full circle crank in this thing, so it really shouldn't twist. However, when you hit this with electric starter, it jars it pretty good. And with the weight of the flywheel on the opposite end of the crankshaft, you're driving that flywheel through the crank using the big end rod crank pin. Okay, not ideal. You'd really want the pulley on the same side as all that weight of the flywheel so that you're driving right on the flywheel. Okay, so did it early, should change it. Haven't got around to it. Really busy winter family stuff. That's why you haven't seen a lot of videos. Anyway, here you go. boy, there's a lot more to talk about with this. When I get around to putting it in a boat, we're going to talk about it, okay? But you should do it first. Man, get you one of these. I'll try to remember to put this in the video description. Yeah, his email's not on there. There it is. Okay, zoom in. Pause. All right. All right. Get a hold of Brent. Get you a no bar. Stop using that goofy bar. Dude, we are racing in 1 week. I can't believe it. Video's coming. Like, subscribe. Catch you later. Go build a boat.